yesterday we have seen route 50 route 53, right? Yeah, yesterday we have seen route 53. So yeah, have you guys understood that? Any doubts in that? Okay, so okay. So today's topic is SNS, SQS, and SWF. So we'll see the practical of SNS and SQS. We will not be able to see the practical of SWF because SWF is something like the service related to workflows and all for the ongoing applications and all, right? Like ongoing projects and all. So I'll show you each and everything, like how you can create it, how you can use it, but we cannot see the practical of it, like how like after we execute it, so how it goes on, because we don't have right now we don't have any ongoing on running application on running project going on, so that's why we cannot see that. But I'll show you how you guys can create it, what are the things that you guys should know for the for each and everything. So let's start with SNS. Okay, let me go move on to the slide. Okay, so first we'll see SNS, then we'll see SQS. Okay. Okay. Am I audible now? Is my voice clear now, or is there any issue going on? Yeah, I think like there is some delay in my voice because whenever I speak, so you guys give me response after 30 seconds, 40 seconds. So I think there is some delay going on. Like okay, Paras and Ravi also came. Okay, so first we'll see SNS. Today's topic is SNS, SQS, and we'll see the practicals of it also. So the first topic is SNS. So this is a very small topic, like we can complete it in 10 to 15 minutes. So we'll understand it in deeply, like what is this and how we can use it. Okay. So before going on to SNS, you guys should remember we have seen the auto scaling group, the practicals of it. Uh, so at that time, when we create the scaling policies, like increase group size, decrease group size. So at that time, when we create alarm, you guys should remember they ask us to create the topic, like we have to give the email address and the name of the topic. So what is that? That is SNS, Simple Notification Services. Like whatever service we use, like for the monitoring, like SNS is related to something, like SNS is a service which is something related to monitoring and all. Like whenever you do monitoring, so how you guys can notify the clients about it, like what is the threshold going on, what is the CPU utilization going on, yeah, whatever you are monitoring on. So how you guys can notify the clients, or how you guys can notify your vendors that this is the uh, monitoring result came. So with like you can notify it with via email or via SMS. So for that we use simple notification services. We have got SNS. So we can create SNS, like we can create the topic, and then we have to give the email address for the SNS topic. And then let's say I have given the email address of mine, like I am creating the SNS topic, right? So in that case, I want to send my records, or to send my like monitorings to Lokendra. So then what I'll do, I'll create a subscription of Lokendra's email ID, and then I'll ask him to subscribe the email ID. So in that case, as soon as he'll subscribe my email ID, like wherever I'll like what I can say is wherever I'll configure this SNS, the email of that monitoring, like if I have configured the CloudWatch on auto scaling, or else if I have configured the CloudWatch on EC2, so whatever is the like whatever monitoring CloudWatch will do, Lokindra will get the notification of each and everything. Like if I'll configure the CloudWatch on auto scaling group, so when my EC2 instance scales up, so at that time Lokendra will get the notification. When my EC2 instance will scale down, so at that time Lokendra will get my notification. So each and every time, if I'll subscribe the SNS through email ID, so we'll get the email through like we'll get the email on our Gmail or Yahoo mail, like whatever mails we are giving. So this is SNS. Have you guys understood it? Okay, okay. So basically, okay, let me show you with the diagram. Okay, how can we draw the diagram for this? Okay, I'll explain it to you again. Like we cannot draw the diagram of SNS. So I'll show it to you if I have the diagram with me. Okay, so I've got the diagram. Okay, so you guys can see. Let's say this is message publisher. So we can like we'll not understand in this way. We'll understand in this way that we are sending the messages from here to here. Okay, let me draw the diagram for this because I can tell you or explain you with the diagram only. So let me draw a diagram. Let's say this is me user, and this is my SNS topic, and these are the services. This, these are the services. Okay, so let me write it. So, this is me user. Okay, is it visible to you? Like whatever I am writing, is it visible to you, or I write it in? Should I increase the font? Okay, I think this is okay. Okay, so this is SNS notification topic, and this is user. That means me, and this is the services. EC2 auto scaling, OTLB, uh, Lambda, S3. Okay, so let's say we have these four services. Okay, so just a minute. Now like we like till now what we have done is we have uh, did each and everything only here. Like we like whatever we are doing, like if I have to see what is the CPU utilization of EC2, so I have to go to management console and then go to the monitoring section, and then I have to see where what is the configurations of EC2, like what sorry, what is the CPU utilization of EC2, what is the disk byte read and write, input in sorry, network in, network out. So for each and every monitoring and each and every thing, I have to go to AWS console and then have to see it. But I cannot like every time I cannot go on to AWS console and see it. Like if I am a client, right? Or let's say I am a service provider, and I am giving some servers to my client. So whatever he is doing on his account, I cannot go into his account and see what he is doing, what is the CPU utilization, why am I getting charges and all. So for that, what we can do, we can like configure something we can configure some services with which we can get the notification, like if he launches the instance, so in that case we should get the notification. If he's deleted the instance, so in that case we should get the notification. If we create S3 bucket, if we upload some object in S3 bucket, if it does any of the configuration. So how we can know that? We can know that either by the either by notification in some of the forms, via SMS or via email. So for that case, we can configure the SNS form. Like what SNS will do, like we will configure in this way. Okay, like we will configure in this way that EC2 or auto scaling or lambda or S3, like whatever happens here, right? Each and every thing will be converted into in a form of notification and will be sent to SNS. Now SNS, what will SNS do? SNS will check like which user is attached to all of these services. Like let's say I have subscribed for all these services. Like I have subscribed to get the notification of all these services. So then SNS will send the notification of each and everything uh, to me. So this is SNS. Okay, got it?
It will be through CloudWatch. It will be set up in each
You
service.
can no. There is no compulsion that you should configure SNS with CloudWatch. You can configure SNS separately also.
So what are the services we can configure to SNS? Any service of AWS which is providing, or there is a restriction to the services? These services
No,
only
no,
can
no.
SNS.
Like if you are okay, understand this. If you are creating SNS, right? So why you are creating SNS? You are creating SNS just to get the information of monitoring and all. So for that you have to configure the CloudWatch also. Like there is no compulsion that you have to configure the CloudWatch. You can directly configure SNS also. Like you can directly create the SNS topics also. But where you use SNS topic, you use SNS topic with the CloudWatch only, because there is no other way you can configure the SNS topic directly to any of the service, right? So that's why. So wherever you use CloudWatch, you can use the SNS topic.
So maybe in your diagram, if you can keep somewhere, it is a CloudWatch. It will be easy to understand everyone. That's what
Okay,
my
so should I? Okay. So for your understanding, what I'll do. Okay, let me change it here. Okay, this, let's say this is not console, this is CloudWatch. Okay,
okay CloudWatch.
for your understanding.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so this way SNS works. Like the whatever CloudWatch monitors here, CloudWatch will send the notification to you in the form of SNS topic. I'll show you in my email address. Like I have got the mails from. Let me check. Okay, let me check like which date. Okay, June 2020. Like I have to go. Hmm, because I've got the mail way before, I think. Okay, let me show it to you in my other. So I'm just showing you how like what kind of email you get from AWS. Okay, okay. So I'll show you, like whenever you send the request, if I am creating the SNS topic, right, and I want to send each and every thing in a form of notification to look in, like whatever thing is going on, like each and every monitoring, each and everything, like when I scale the instance, when I scale down the instance. So I want each and everything to send to Lokendra. So then in that case, what I'll do, I'll uh, give the Lokendra's email ID in the subscription, and then Lokendra has to subscribe it. So you get this kind of email to subscribe. Like you guys can see, you have choose to subscribe to the topic. This is the CloudWatch with SNS. You guys can see we have got this SNS here. To confirm this subscription, so you have to click on this, and then you have to subscribe the email. So this is this kind of email you get for subscription. Let me check for the okay, we have got the here. And after you subscribe to it, like if I have configured the SNS with auto scaling, right? So whenever my instance scales up or instance scale down, so in that case I'll get the notification. So this notification is for the high CPU utilization. You guys can see you are receiving this email because your Amazon CloudWatch alarm AWS EC2 SVR, like this is the name in this region. Let me just has entered the alarm state because threshold grows one data point. So you get mail, you get each and everything in detail, like alarm details. So this is my alarm name. State change, so state is in insufficient. Okay. A reason, threshold cross one data point. Okay, so this is this kind of email you get. And you also get the account number, like you can verify which like services from which account. And then what is the monitored metric? So you get the monitored metric also, like metric space is EC2, metric name CPU utilization, period 60 seconds. So this kind of email you get whenever you subscribe to SNS topic. So understood? I've got 2 to 3 emails also. I'll show it to you.
What
Okay. Yeah.
what exactly SNS topic contains? Subscription only?
Yeah, SNS topic is just for the notification purposes. Like if you want to notify your client or your vendor, like whatever service you are doing, let's say you are my client. Okay. So whatever you are doing in my account, like if you are creating auto scaling group in my account. So in that case, what like I told you to configure SNS topic, so that whatever you do in your account, I'll also get the idea of each and everything. So with the help of SNS, I'll get the idea what you are doing in your account, because in that case, whatever you do, I'll get the notification for each and everything.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. This
So,
okay. This
so can SNS be used with other AWS services?
Vimlendra, like keep your mic a little far away from you, because this. Okay. Tell me again what you are asking.
So can SNS be used to other AWS services?
Like you can use SNS where you can use the CloudWatch. Like wherever you are using the CloudWatch, you can use the SNS there. Okay. Vimlendra. Okay. No, Ravi, like this is not only for cloud. We cannot say that this is only for cloud. But the thing is, there is uh, like when we create Lambda, AWS Lambda, like I'll teach you Lambda in some, like coming days. So in that case also, like SNS is just the notification service, right? So why you will configure the notification service directly to any of the service? Like why you want the notification of each and everything? You want the like whenever you create SNS. So why you create SNS? You create SNS to get the notification of like uh, the what we can say the like if you are monitoring the EC2, like we use the notification in case of monitorings, right? So that's why I'm telling that wherever you use CloudWatch, you can use SNS there, because CloudWatch is the monitoring service. And if you are monitoring something, so in that case only you want to get the notification, or if you want to send the notification to somebody. So that's why I told that you can use SNS wherever you are using the CloudWatch. Okay. Okay, Vimlendra, is your doubt clear?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, okay. So, okay, this is another mail. Like I have configured this SNS topic. Like I have deleted this, but I've configured this SNS topic at that time with my auto scaling group. So you guys can see like this SNS topic is like I've got the mail for termination of group, right? So you guys can see like I've got the detailed information of each and everything, like why they terminated my instance and what was the CPU utilization. So each and everything, like you can see the service auto scaling, the time also, like which time they have terminated my instance. Event was auto scaling EC2 instance terminate. Account ID is this. Scaling group name is SVRASG auto scaling group. So we have got the information of each and everything. So we can say that this is the advantage of SNS. Like whenever you create SNS, or if you are creating a SNS with the CloudWatch or on any of the service, so you can you can receive or you can get the notification for each and everything, whatever you do or whatever the service is doing on your. Okay, so this is the advantage of SNS. Have you guys got it? Okay, so let us quickly read about SNS. What is SNS? Then I'll show you how you guys can create SNS topic. Okay, so you guys can see like SNS. It is highly available, durable, secure, and fully managed pub sub messaging service that enables you to decouple microservices, distributed system, and serverless application. So basically, you can use this use this service. This is a messaging service, so it will help you to send the message of each and every microservice, distributed systems, and serverless applications. Provides topic for high throughput, push based, and many to many messaging. Yeah, definitely you can send like many to many messages. They provides high throughput, and SNS can be used to fan out notification to end users using mobile push, SMS, and email. Yeah, definitely. So you can send the notification of each and everything to your end user or your client via mobile push, SMS, or email. We get email for like we can use email in the free tier service, but mobile push and SMS are chargeable. Okay, so we'll use the email service. Okay, using SNS topic, your publisher system can fan out message to the large number of subscriber endpoints of parallel processing, including SQS and Lambda also. So I've told you, like we'll see SNS when we'll study Lambda in the future. So like here it is also mentioned that it is used in Lambda, HTTP, webhooks, and SQS. So we'll see SQS today also. Like after SNS, we'll see SQS also. So we can use each and everything. Okay, SQS is also some sort of messaging service in a queue-based messaging service. So SQS is a queue-based messaging service. SNS is the notification service. Okay. So what are the benefits of SNS? It is reliable, reliably delivers the message with durability, definitely. Automatically scales your workload. Yeah, so you don't have to go again and again and push the message. Okay, when like if you have configured the SNS topic, so whenever the configuration has changed or whenever anything is changed in the service with which you have configured the SNS, SNS will send the notification of that immediately and automatically. You don't need to go again and again and push the message. Simplify your architecture with message filtering. So definitely SNS do the message filtering, and you can simplify your architecture with it. Keep message private and secure. Definitely the messages that you get through SNS, like if you are sending the SNS topic, like like uh, the thing which I have shown you, like this SNS sends the message to user, is the one part of SNS. Okay, you can use SNS for the service to service service to service notification also. Like if you want to send the notification of what we can say, send the notification from one service to another service, so you can use SNS in that case also. Okay, so keep messages private and secure. So SNS will keep your message in private and secure whenever you send your message from one service to another. Okay. or if you are a user or end user or my client, and if you want to send some of the notification from your place to the services which is at my place, so you can use SNS at that time also. Okay. Okay, so how does it work? Basically, publisher is nothing but the system service or AWS service which sends the message to SNS. Then SNS, here we have got two things in the SNS topic, and message filtering and fan out. Then from there we can send the messages to our subscriber, or with the help of webhooks like websites and all, through SQS. SQS is also messaging service, I've told you, and Lambda. So Lambda is also a service. We'll see Lambda in future. So these are the way, like this way you can, SNS works. Okay. Okay, so this is the diagrammatic view of how SNS works. So this is the message publisher. So what is message publisher? Message publisher is nothing but the service, AWS service or any of the service will send you the message to topic. So basically these two diagrams are similar, but are made in two different forms. Okay. Okay, so this is SNS SQS together. So okay, so we'll not go on to that. First we'll see the SNS. Okay, so how you guys can go for SNS topic, like how you guys can, so you guys have to go to services and search for SNS and enter it. Now here you guys can see, like I have got 0 topics and 0 subscription. So topic is nothing but the SNS which I am creating, and subscription means like if I want to send the notification to Lokendra. So subscription means I have to create subscription for Lokendra. If I want to send the notification to Ravi, so subscription means I have to create another subscription for Ravi. Subscription means the connectivity with the email address of end users. Okay. So we are on to dashboard. First we will create the topic. Okay, so we have to create the topic first, because without creating the topic we cannot create the subscription. So let us create the topic. They are asking me to give the name of topic, so let me give SNS CloudSewa. Description, so let us give descriptions of the testing. Like description is optional, so you guys can give it, or if you guys don't want to, you guys can leave it. Testing for testing of SNS topic. Okay, now like you guys can see here, we have got multiple options: encryption, access policy. But whenever we create SNS topic through CloudWatch, so you do not get all these things there. So my personal opinion to you is, you create the topic separately by coming here. So in that case, you can enable the encryptions also, you can create the access policies also. So it is better for you guys to come at this place and create the SNS topic. Okay. So like we have gave the name SNS CloudSewa. Then if you guys want, so you guys can enable the encryption, CMK, customer master key. So they'll create, they'll give you the ARN of CMK, customer master key. So I'm not creating the encryption because there is no need for us to create encryption right now. So but I've told you how you guys can create encryption. So you guys can click on enable encryption, and they'll give you the default one. Or if you want, so you can create encryption keys also. I have shown you guys how you guys can create encryption keys. Now we have got the second option, access policy. So you guys can also create access policies, like we have got basic and advanced. So in advanced, what is advanced policy? So advanced policy means you have to write the JSON code, and basic policy means you can select through the GUI mode. So first thing is, define who can publish message to the topic. So definitely you can define like who can publish the message. So only the topic owner. That means topic owner means, like if I have created the SNS topic and I have configured SNS topic with EC2. So only EC2 will be able to send the message using SNS. Then we have got everyone. So everyone means everyone can use this topic. This topic will be public. And the third option is only specified AWS account. So if you guys want if you guys want that you can use this SNS topic through other accounts also. Like I have 3 accounts, so if I want to use this SNS topic in my other accounts also, so in that case I can go with only the specified AWS account, and then I have to give the account ID. So I'm going with only the topic owner. Okay, so topic owner means like the service with which I am assigning the SNS. Then we have got define who can subscribe to the topic. So subscription means like whoever will subscribe will get the notification. So only the like we can select only the topic owner. So topic owner means I have created the topic, so only I can subscribe to the topic. Everyone, so everyone means if I have created the topic but I've sent the subscription, I've created the subscription for Ravi, Lokendra and Abhijay. So in that case they can also access it, accept the subscription because I've created the everyone. Now only specified account, like okay, specify. Okay, Lokendra has the has his personal account. So if I want to send the notifications to Lokendra, so I can I can separately give the account ID of Lokendra's account. So only he will be able to get the subscription of topic. So this way. So I am selecting everyone. Or we have got one more option, only the requesters with certain endpoints. So in that case we have to give the certain endpoints. Means endpoints means we can say some web URL. So that is the endpoint. So like if certain requester will ask for the subscription with that particular URL, so that user will get the subscription. So I don't want this. I want everyone can subscribe to my topic. So I've selected everyone. Now we have got delivery retry policy. So like by default, like default retry policy is this number of retry 3, retry without delay is this. If you guys want, so you guys can change it. Number of retry means if your message is unsuccessful, like your notification is not able to reach to destination. So in that case your SNS topic will retry it again and again. Like how much time? If I want to retry 5 times, so I can give it 5 times. So minimum delay, so minimum delay like must be lower than maximum delay. So definitely minimum delay means if I want this much amount of minimum delay for the notification to get to the destination, so I can give the minimum delays also, maximum delays also. Minimum delay retries, minimum delay retries means what we can say is minimum delay in the retries. Like if I am retrying it again and again, so I want to delay the retry. So in that case I can give, like I want the 10 seconds delay in the retry, so I can give this here. But I don't want to change it, so I'll leave it as default one. Then we have got status logging. So status logging means you'll get the log deliveries. Log delivery status means your notification is delivered or not. So in that case you can select the services. These are the services with which you can use SNS topic. So you can use SNS with the platform application endpoint. So basically platform application endpoints mean S3 cloud, we can say CloudWatch or any of the services, or with HTTP. So HTTP means via any website. SQS, so we'll see the SQS, and with the Lambda function. So you can use SNS topic with these 4 services, and CloudWatch comes under this service. Okay. Then there are, you can also give the success sample rate, like the percent. What is success sample rate? So the percentage of successful message delivered to log. So what that is success sample rate. And you can, like if you are creating the SNS topic, right? So you have to configure the IAM role to it. Like either if you can configure the existing role, or else you can create the new role also. So let me create a new role. So I have clicked on create new role. So I have to create a new role, and then I'll assign that role. So I'll create a new role name SNS success feedback policy document. So okay, it is already written. I'll click on allow, and my role is created. You guys can see I have created the role for SNS topic, like as for SNS success and for SNS failure. So whenever my SNS topic is successful, so in that case this role will come into existence, and if my SNS topic is failure, so in that case this role will come into existence. And you can also give the tags, so we know what is tag if you want to give name, email address, or anything. I don't want to give tags. Okay. Now you just need to click on create. So you guys can see we have created the topic. So this is the name of topic. Display name is testing of SNS topic, basically description. Topic owner is this account. This is the ARN of topic. Like if you want to use this topic in some services, so they ask you for the ARN. ARN means Amazon resource number. So they use for the ARN. So this is ARN. Now we don't have subscription yet, so we'll create the subscription. But before that, you guys can also see the access policy from here. You can also see the delivery retry policy. Each and like you can see each and everything. You can see the encryptions also. So you can see each and everything. Now we have what we have done is we have created the SNS topic. So we have to create the subscription for that. So let me create a subscription. So like when I click on create subscription, so they are asking me to select the protocol, like which kind of protocol you want. So if I want to get the notification via HTTP, like via any HTTP, so I can select HTTP. If I want to get the notification in form of HTTPS, so I can select HTTPS. But I want to get the notification in form of email. So I'll write email. Okay. Now I have to give the email address. Okay, so I'll give an email address. Which email? Okay, I'll give my this email. So this is my email. This is my one of my email address. So I've give the email address. Now they are asking me to like if I want, I can change the subscription filter policy. And then we have got the redrive policy, dead letter key. So what is dead letter? Dead letter means I'll tell you what is dead letter. Like if you have created the SNS topic, right? Or if you have created the SQS topic. So in that case, like if your notification, like you are sending the notification to user, but user cannot like user is not receiving the notification. So in that case, you are retrying, and now what happens is you have exceeded the maximum number of retries. So in that case, you can enable the redrive policy. In that case, we create one dead letter queue, and your notification will be sent to dead letter queue. So we'll see what is dead letter queue in SQS. So you can enable it also. So I don't want to enable it, so I'll leave it, and then I'll create the subscription. So now you guys can see like subscription to SNS topic created successfully. But what I have to do is I have to go to my okay. I have to go to my email address, and then I have to confirm the subscription also. Like you guys can see, I've got the mail of testing SNS topic. So I have to confirm the subscription. So what I'll do is I'll click on confirm subscription. And you guys can see like it is they have confirmed my subscription. You have subscribed Nation Singh Badoria. So Nation Singh this to the topic SNS CloudSewa. And let's wait for a while. So our subscription will pending request will get confirmed. or else we'll refresh it. So you guys can see now my subscription is confirmed. Okay. Now you can use this as a SNS topic wherever you want. So this way you can use this. Topic, yeah, definitely. Topic is just the name, and subscription, like you create topic so that you can define like if you have created the topic and you have configured that topic with the lambda, so you'll get the notification from the lambda function. So how you guys can define like uh, from where you have got the notification? So for that we give the name, or so topic is that name. Okay. And subscription means like you're subscribing to this service, so that is subscription. Okay, Ravi? Okay. So have you guys understood? This way you guys can create SNS topic. And we have seen like uh, during the auto scaling and all, like whenever we create scaling policies, so how like I've shown you the emails also how SNS topic works. If you guys want, I'll show it to you again. Got it? Okay, so let's move on further. Our next topic is SQS, Simple Q Services. Before that, let me first delete it. I've deleted the subscription. Okay, make sure that when if you are not using the service, so make sure that you delete the service. Okay. So let me see. Okay, I have deleted the topic and subscription both. Okay. Okay, so now we have seen SNS. So our next topic is SQS, Simple Q Services. So this is also messaging services, but this is like a managed messaging services. We can say I'll show you to you with the help of diagram. Okay. Okay, so like I think you guys have studied about queues in the programmings and all. Like we can configure the queues in the app, like each and everything. So you guys should have studied about queue. Like what is the name of that thing? LIFO, FIFO. You guys have heard about that LIFO, FIFO, FIFO, LIFO, last in first out queue services. So this is also like this service, this SQS service is based on FIFO, FIFO. Okay, and we can also create a basic, yeah, FIFO, FIFO, first in first out. So we can configure queue. So the FIFO is a queue service. So we can configure this like in SQLs in AWS. We can configure either FIFO queue, or we can configure the simple queue also. So I'll show you the diagram of FIFO queue and the simple queue. Mm, okay. So you guys will understand with the help of diagram. So you guys can see this is the standard queue, the basic queue. Basic queue means like uh, basic queue. We can say that like if 3 is coming, so it is going like there is no managed way. So you can create the standard queue. So basically you'll send the notifications and then the notification will get goes to the destination. But like in most of the cases we create FIFO queue. FIFO queue means whatever comes first will get like will reach the destination first. Like if I'll like fifth term has entered first in the queue, so fifth term will get the like destination will get the fifth term first, then fourth term enters after the fifth term, so fourth term like destination will get the fourth term. So in this way, like you guys can see here in the diagram in AWS, so this is FIFO queue and this is standard queue. I'll show you the diagram also. Okay, so this is the diagram. Okay. Okay. So we can use SQS Q service. SQS basically we use SQS to send the messages between the services. Like if you want to send the messages between two different services, like it is not necessary that this services should be in my account. You can send the notifications to the other services also. So in that case, you use SQS. Like if I want to send the notification from EC2 to auto scaling groups and all. So in that case, SQS works. Okay. So EC2 will send the notification to SQS. Then order dispatcher means SQS will send the notification. I'll show you each and everything. Then we have got two ways. Either the first one is priority queue, that is FIFO queue, and the second is normal queue. Normal queue means the standard queue. So you can send the notification in two ways. So this is SQS. So let us read something about SQS. So what is SQS? SQS is a fully managed message queuing service that enable you to decouple and scale microservice, distributed system, and serverless application. Definitely, so you can send the messages in form of queues, eliminates the complexity and overhead associated with the managing and operating message-oriented middleware, and empower development to focus on differentiating work. So basically, the thing is if you want to send the messages to the services in a form of queue, so in that way, and I'll tell you some slight differences between SQS and SNS. So in SNS topic, like your messages or your notification will reach the destination automatically. But in the case of SQS, you have to like pull the notification. You have to push the notification. Like you have to go to SQS and then send the notification. Like SQS will not automatically send your notification to the destination. So this is a slight difference between SQS and SNS. Let me show you that also. So you guys can see like how there are some differences between SNS and SQS. Like SNS automatically push the message to subscriber, and SQS receiver must poll messages. So we have to send the messages manually. Same messages can deliver to multiple subscribers, but in SQS, same messages cannot be delivered to multiple customers. Definitely. So you guys can send one message at a time to only one customer. Like you cannot send this message to multiple customers. Notifies other system and services. In SQS, SQS sends the message to other system to decouple and integrate the application. So basically, I told you, SQS, we use SQS for to send the messages between the services. So this is the usage of SQS. Have you guys understood what is SQS? Okay, so I'll show you the practical of how you guys can create the SNS. So in case if you want to create the standard queue, so you can directly give the name, or
Is this SQS is kind of normal MQ messages?
pardon?
SQS is something like a message queue.
Yeah, it is a messaging services, but it is a managed messaging services, and SQS will send your messages in a form of queue. Like in the SNS, what is the difference between SNS and SQS is SNS just simply send the notification what it received from the service, right? But in case of SQS, SQS will send your notification sequentially, like in a form of queue, like one after the other, one after the other. This.
So can I say
That's why.
to IBM?
Pardon?
Is something too similar to IBM MQ?
Your voice is not clear. Just write in the chat box. SQS is similar to IBM MQ. So like I have not like read that much about IBM MQ, but like I've studied that MQ is something message like orientation of messages and all, right? Which IBM provides. Like I've not read that much about IBM MQ, but is it that like I have read only this much that this is some sort of messaging services that IBM provides. It orient like it is a oriented messaging service. Is it? Isn't that? So we cannot say that it is similar to IBM MQ, because the thing is like IBM MQ is the message like oriented messaging service. So it can send any of the messages, uh, but SQS is not oriented messaging service. SQS is a queue-based messaging service. So there is a difference between oriented messaging and queue-based messaging, right? So they'll orient like they'll orient your message in such a form and then send your message. And queuing a message and orienting a message is two different things. So we cannot say that it is similar, but yeah, something might be similar in that, because I have not read that much about IBM MQ. That's why, because I've read only a few things about IBM MQ. So that's why. Okay. So we were seeing SQL. Okay. So I've told you that you guys can create either a standard queue or FIFO queue. So in case of standard queue, like if you are creating the standard queue, so you can directly give the queue name and you can proceed with the standard queue. Okay. But in the case of like each and everything like below is same, but I'm just giving you the difference between standard queue and FIFO queue. So each and every configuration which is given here below is same in the standard and FIFO queue. So like in the case of standard queue, so you can give the queue name directly, but in case of FIFO queue, so what you have to do is you have to give dot FIFO after your queue name. Okay, like I have given the queue name as SQS lambda. So I have to give SQS lambda dot FIFO because I am creating the FIFO queue. So it will define that dot FIFO means this is my FIFO key. Okay, and like everything here is same. So the first thing that we can see here is default visibility timeout. So default visibility timeout means like if I am sending the message from one service to another service, so this is the timeout, like after 30 seconds, or like if I've said 60 seconds of default visibility timeout, so after 60 seconds my message will not be visible at the destination. So my message will be visible only for 60 seconds. So this is default visibility time. So messaging visibility, the timeout of messaging visibility. We have got message retention period. So you can give message retention period from 1 day to day 14. Like you can uh, like retain you can configure retention policy for your message from 1 day to 14 day. So that means if I am writing 10 here, so my message will be with me for 10 days. Then after 10 days my message will get deleted. Maximum message size, so we can only give to maximum message size is 256 KB. So you can send the message up to 256 KB in SQS. Then delivery delay. So if you want to delay your delivery, like message delivery, like if you send the message now, but if you don't want your what we can say the destination to get your message just now, so you can configure the delivery delay. So let's say I want to configure 15 minutes or 15 seconds of delivery delay. So my destination will get the message after 15 seconds. So the delivery will be 15 seconds delay. Then we have got message receive message wait time. So your receive message wait time will be like uh, how much time you guys can wait for the message. Like I'm sending the message from here. So let's say if I give the 10 seconds here, so my destination or either me will wait for 10 seconds for the message. Otherwise, I'll not give the response. Okay, so like if you are sending the message, understand in this way. Like if you have pinged to the Google, if you have ping space 8.8.8, so in that case you get the reply, right? Because you are sending the request and you are receiving the request. If sending the request and receiving the request are working perfectly, in that case only you can say that the connection is established. So if you have sent the message and you do not get the message in return, so that means your connection is not established. So how here you guys can configure like how much time you want to wait to receive the message. Okay, so I can wait for 10 seconds to receive the message. Then we have got dead letter queue. So in SNS, I've told you we can create dead letter queue here. But for that, we should have like already created queue with us. Like we do not have any queue with us. So dead letter queue means if you already have a queue and you have deleted it, like you are not using it, so you deleted it. So you can use that queue as a dead letter. So that means all the unuseful messages of your SQS will be sent to dead letter queue. So you can use it, but we don't have any existing queue right now, so we cannot use it. Then you can also enable the subscription. So I don't want to enable the subscription. Then what you need to do is you need to click on create queue. Now I have created the queue. Now this way you can create the queue, but how you guys can use it? So for that, for using it, you guys remember during the time of deploying virtual machines on EC2, I've told you that you have to create IAM role, because without IAM role you cannot do anything. So here in AWS also, like if you are using the applications, like big applications, big servers and all, so for that, for each and everything, like you cannot use multiple services by just simply going on to action and connect it, because you cannot see any connect option here. So how you guys can connect it? So you either you can configure the Lambda, because we don't have Lambda function right now, or else you can like if you are creating the configuring the Lambda also. So in that case, you have to create the IAM role for that. For each and everything, you have to create IAM role. So what IAM role you have to create? You have to create IAM role such that I'll show you. Okay, I'll show you. Because for using each and everything, you should have IAM role with you. Okay. So let me go on to role. I have to create a role. So what I am using? I am using a